What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Magic Mushroom Speak podcast. I'm your host, Traveling Psychonaut, the one and only. Today we have a special guest. Hope you guys stick around and enjoy the content. Definitely going to have some jewels and gems of mycology for you guys to soak up. We also have a call-in section where you guys can call in and ask the guest or myself questions. So, enough of the introduction, and let's get to it. Well, we're on the show now, so it only took us, 4 or 5 tries now?
15 minutes. That's bad.
That's okay. We'll run past just a little bit. So Native, let's since it's your first time on the show, let's get you to introduce yourself and a little bit about yourself and what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I am the machine.
You're the machine, eh? All right. Well, let's hear about the machine. Let's hear about it.
So I am a guy. I live Ontario. My family. I'm not fully Indigenous. It's like 50-50 mix. The Indigenous is on my father's side, but I mainly focus on that because my other side has more representation. So I like to lean more on the Indigenous side as it is. Um, I fell in love with mycology like 2 years ago during that whole COVID blip. Originally, I was a chef for 10 years for a company and then got laid off. And as I'm sitting at home, I started looking into gardening. And with learning about gardening, figuring out how your food grows and what does broccoli look like before you harvest it, right? Because up to this point, it was just I know how to cut it, I know how to cook it, I know how to prepare it for my clients. I started really loving learning where food comes from, and naturally, as I make my way through the grocery store, I stop at mushrooms. How do you grow a mushroom? I asked myself. And that led me down the road in YouTube and found 90-second mycology. And I mean, the rest was history, right? That's where that is.
Yeah. Ooh. So what's that?
That's kind of like my whole story, or how I got to where I am now.
So the word is that you're starting a mushroom farm. Let's hear a little bit about that, and let's go through the process and how you've gotten to where you've gotten now, and where you want to take it, and where you're going to go with it.
So, learning, I spent I spent like my first year. I spent just watching all of any and all mushroom videos. It got to a point where my wife was getting really upset at me because it's like, you're never going to grow mushrooms. You're watching all these YouTube videos all the damn time. But then I ended up carving a little corner of the house out for a little foldable table and my unmodified still air box. And that still air box was used to hold dusty books. And so every time I'd finish my mycology work, I would have to put the books back and put everything away. And that slowly grew to a dedicated still air box. And and as we go out shopping, I just slowly piece together more and more things. But I found the one thing limiting me from ever doing anything with all this knowledge that I've accumulated through trial and error and research was space. My living situation is I live with the in-laws, so it's me, my wife, my 2 kids, and then her parents, her brother, and his wife. We're all in this one house. It's a decent sized house, I mean, but I still need space, and I also need money.
Don't we all, man? We all need money.
Right? We all need money. I wanted to do something with this, but without space, I can't, right? Because the biggest limiting factor to any mushroom farm is your fruiting space or colonization space. You need storage space, right? And I needed a way. And so I found myself looking for any kind of business grant or any kind of funding, any kind of indigenous related funding for business. And I found, for anybody listening, there is a group or an association called IAPO in Ontario. Stands for Indigenous Agriculture Ontario or something like that. And this group, they focus on new farmers for Indigenous people specifically, anyways. And how they operate is they have a line of funding from the government. It's some million of dollars or so. The government gives them this money, and they distribute it to Indigenous people wanting to start a farm, any kind of farm, not just mushrooms. I mean, they were pretty blown away when I came to them with this application that I gave them, because they never even thought of mushrooms. Up to this point, it was like maple syrup or a cow farm or something, right? So the process was to write a business plan. You know, how are you gonna operate? How are you gonna make money? How does it work, right? And once they understand it, I was pretty quickly approved, honestly.
So so it's kind of like going to the bank then.
Kinda.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a little bit more. They're a little bit more casual with it. And with this in particular, this program, because they do it through numerous programs. This is specifically for new farmer programs. So not only do they give you the money, they also help you with writing a business plan. They help you with how to run your business, like tracking expenses and taxes and whatnot. A lot of emphasis on the new farmers aspect of it. And so they asked me to write up my projected costs. What is it going to cost? And at first I was like trying to think, what can I do with this? My original plan was one of my buddies. He has like a walk-in fridge in his garage, and I was going to turn his walk-in fridge into a fruiting room. And one day we were having a conversation. He's like, "Dude, you have like a potential unlimited amount of money. Why don't you just do what you need to do and get it done?" And I was like, "What do you mean by that?" He's like, "Just build a shed, bro." And I didn't even think of erecting a structure in my backyard.
That's a big process.
Right? I was
It is.
just focusing on using what was available to me at this time, because without this funding, originally I was just going to use his fridge because it's already built. Right? Where's the cheapest way I can get to market? But cheapest isn't necessarily the most sustainable, and so I had to really think about how I'm going to actually do this. And that's kind of where I came to where I am now. Is I'm going to build a shed in my backyard, and I'm renting, by the way. So this is a pretty crazy idea because it's not my house, right? So I got to try to figure out a way to do this with the ability to move it later if I need to. I also needed to convince not only the landlords, I had to convince everybody else in the house that I'm going to take half the backyard. I'm already taking the cold room downstairs because we live in the basement. I took the cold room for my lab. And I also had to convince these the people with this program, because they weren't too keen on giving me $30,000 for something that might not be there. Like it might just be wasted. Like, what if I spend all this money and then something happens where we have to move out? Like, what happens then, right? So I had to convince them that I've been living in this house for like 7-8 years now. We're not planning on going anywhere. I'm pretty confident that this won't be a problem.
Yeah, but if you did have to move, that would be, you'd have to find a place where you could put your shed back into the backyard.
Oh yeah. So that's like I have this weight of fears now, just all over me, because this money isn't a grant. It's a loan. It's a business loan. 30% of this loan is a grant, so I don't have to pay back everything. And the interest on it is 6%, which is amazing. But I still have to pay it back.
So when do they make you start paying back that? Like, when does the 6% start accumulating? After a year, 2 years?
No, immediately.
Really?
Yeah, my first
So,
payment is going to be at the end of this month. That's going to be $160.
and already. So they don't even give you time to get going. They just want you.
Yeah, and that's specifically for the because I was asking him about it and like, hey man, I'm not going to be ready. Like, I'm not going to be because I'm not going to be at market. Like, how am I going to pay this? He's like, that's just for the interest, just so that the interest doesn't build up on me.
Oh, so they're going to get you to start paying it back a little faster. That way, there's not as much interest in the end.
In the end, yeah, like just so that I'm not going to be completely swamped. So I understand it. However, it's like the pressure is on, right?
Well, you got your plan ready. Now you just got to put it in motion. And
That's exactly it. Like what I'm doing now is the only thing that's different about what I'm doing now is it's bigger because I've already done. I've built Martha tents in the garage. I've built colonization rooms already in corners of the house. I've done all the grain spawn. I've done agar transfer. I've done everything. It's just a matter of multiplying that now to a commercial scale.
yeah, that's a tough one, man. People think that's an easy go. It's not easy to, go from doing one bucket to doing, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 buckets at a time. It's it's a big difference.
Right? Go! Spend a year working out of a still air box, and I used to hide my grain spawn on the tops of the cabinets in the kitchen because I didn't have any room anywhere. I'd hide it in little corners because people were complaining about these jars of random fungus everywhere. And so I had to hide it everywhere. And then all of a sudden now it's like, okay, give us a shopping list of everything you need to be commercially ready. Go.
It, yeah,
So
go ahead, man. Go ahead.
so like compiling my list, uh, I came up with 30 grand. 30 grand is what I need.
That's a big chunk of change, man. That's I mean, so what's the plan like once you get going, you got all your supplies and stuff like that. You were saying something about you're going to take it to market and
Yeah.
you're going to sell it.
So after my shed is built, I have a contractor, by the way, and he told me April 24th is when he's gonna get it. He's gonna start work, which is pretty great. So after my shed is built and I start fruiting things, the plan is to try to find a farmer's market. Um, but it's looking like I'm gonna be getting into a fall market because I'm gonna miss the first market that starts is in June. Application already been submitted, and we submitted an application, but because things are going so slow, we ended up rescinding our application, so we're going to miss the beginning market. But luckily for me, in Guelph, which is about 30 minutes from where I live, they have a year-round market, which is great. So throughout the winter.
I think Hamilton has a all around market too. I'm not too sure in Jackson Square.
Yeah, I'm going to look into that. Definitely going to start with markets, but we're also approaching local butcheries, like the mom and pop butcher shops that really focus on like high quality produce as well as their meats. And they were pretty excited to have some grown mushrooms as well because a lot of the produce that we get here in North America, if it's not, middle of the summer, it's coming from California and Mexico.
So it'll be nice to be local. They'll like the local aspect of it, eh?
Yeah, right. Because like around August, September, there's like a huge push here in Ontario for locally sourced, locally grown, support your farmers kind of thing, and then it's gone. It's it. It's over. There's no more. Right. So to be able to offer locally sourced, locally grown produce, 365 days of the year, they're pretty ecstatic about that, and that's my goal. That is the end goal when I'm done building this shed. Is I'm going to have a commercial mushroom farm in my backyard in the middle of a Brampton suburb, 365 days of the year. How many
Yeah.
farms? That's it. When I explain that to the program people, they kind of lean forward in their chairs a little bit, like, huh, he's right. What farms can do that? Maybe cattle, maybe.
In a suburb.
Not in the suburb. You
But
got a good point there. But
that's
just
probably why I think he was leaning on his chair, like thinking this guy thinks he's gonna have a full-fledged farm, like a mushroom farm in his backyard in the suburbs in the city. They're probably
goddamn
thinking
right.
it probably blew their mind though. They're probably thinking like, like what the fuck? How's this guy gonna do this?
Then I'm like,
You know?
I'm perfectly situated because I'm in between all these large markets. Like Brampton has a really popular, trendy farmers market that they do downtown every weekend, and then Georgetown, which is another 10 minutes from me, has one. Guelph, like I just told you, has one that's 30 minutes away, and of course, there's the Toronto ones downtown, which is maybe about a 45-minute drive versus all these actual farmers with these acres of lands. How far do they have to travel?
And
Pretty far.
it's also a really diverse community out that way too, right? Like,
Absolutely, we have a large Asian, South Asian, East Asian, like all of Asia lives here. We have Indian, Chinese, Japanese, all of it, and mushrooms are huge for these people, which is excellent. And then you have people who are born here in Canada who know nothing about mushrooms, and they're just learning about them now. So there's a huge mushroom boom going on right now, and we're going to be poised to take advantage of that.
so you're planning to get ahead of the game before everybody else is getting the idea of growing a would you call it, a mushroom farm in their backyard. I mean, if you think when I think about it, I think like this is ridiculous, but me and you have been talking and stuff, and it it's a logical solution. You can do it.
I mean, that's the usual reaction is, who the fuck does that?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. When the guys were sitting on their seats there, that's probably what they're thinking. Like, this guy's fucking nuts. But you came up with the plan. You showed them how you were gonna do it, and
I was like, oh, that's actually pretty plausible, right?
so what are you gonna name the business then? What's your mushroom farm gonna be named?
My business, I'm already registered, by the way. If you look it up, you'll find it in the registry in Ontario, is Indigicap Shrooms.
Oh, and
That's, that's
shrooms. You're going with the shrooms
damn
outlook of
right
it.
I am. I did that on purpose because that makes you go, huh? I'm sorry, what? Makes you
Yeah.
really think about it. But also really leaning heavy into the indigenous side because I plan not just to be a mushroom farm, but I want to use this as a means to kind of reconnect with that side of my family, to learn about more of that culture, to kind of bring more recognition towards it. Uh, I grew up here in Ontario. My family, my indigenous family, they're in British Columbia. They are the Heisla Nation in the Kitimat village. My dad came here, many years ago. Met my mom, and then well, that just happened because we have all this space in between us. I just never fully connected with that side of my culture, and I really want to take this time to really learn more about it and outreach and then teach other people about what it's about. And the shroom aspect, because tons of people are interested in mushrooms, but nobody really. It's still too taboo to just go out and ask people, right? So with a name like Shrooms, it really, I feel like it's going to give people the confidence to ask those questions. I wanna be able to not just sell you some tasty mushrooms, but I want to also give you some really lifelong lessons about, the benefits to what it can offer you. The next huge boom in medical science, I guarantee it's going to be mushroom related. It's going to
You think
happen.
you think so, eh? Well, that's the way it's leaning right now, as far as like all the news reports and stuff.
Absolutely.
All the scientific studies are going that way, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. There's lots of
The next
what's
the
go
next
ahead.
penicillin level of discovery, like when they discovered penicillin and it changed the world, right? The next penicillin level of discovery, it's going to be with mushrooms. I just know it. Like with lion's mane and dementia and all that. It's going to happen. I can't promise anything. I can't prove anything, but I just know it's going to be somewhere in that field.
I've discovered penicillin too in my plates. Yeah. You ever discovered any penicillin in your agar plate?
Yeah, man.
Shows up in my shower sometimes. By the way, how do I sound?
You sound good, man.
Okay, cool.
Everybody's sounding good tonight. It's 11:30 at night, and we're sitting here on a podcast.
But yeah.
I'm gonna blame Native. The machine, as he likes to be called, the machine.
I am
The machine.
Hey, so what kind of mushrooms are you gonna grow?
So in the beginning, I'm gonna focus on the quick fruiters to really stress test my systems. So that's oyster mushrooms, like brown, yellow, blue. I'm gonna do like the whole rainbow, and then I'm gonna do lion's mane because they all colonize fast, they all fruit fast. I'm gonna have a limited colonization room, right? I'm gonna be limited to my shed is gonna be 160 square feet. So space is again going to be my enemy because the Brampton Code says you're only allowed to have 161 square feet for a shed. So I'm going to have to really have a lot of turnover. So I won't be able to focus on things like shiitakes or chestnuts or maitake because they just take too damn long. And then from there, I got to figure it out.
Well, that's the thing with the new business.
That's what we're all trying to do.
That's it. It's a process, man. You just figure it out as you go along, or you just sink. You decide.
I've been there. I've definitely sank. Not in making a business, but in other places. You know.
Oh yeah,
it's not too bad though.
Nah, it happens. You just get back up and keep on moving. That's it. That's all you can do.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, it's good to have you back.
Oh, sorry. No, go on.
No, I was gonna say it's good to have you back on the show.
Yeah. So last time I was here, I remember it was April 1st. So April Fool's Day, and I showed up tripping.
Oh yeah,
and,
I remember that now.
There's this other guy, William, that showed up, which I think he was doing an impression of an actor. Now that I think about it, but that super like fucked me up for like not in a bad way, but like I was still tripping, so I like thought like, holy crap, this is the most amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when I got off, I was like trying to find him again. Like I got to talk to this dude, you know. And, like I went crazy on Discord, and like you probably saw that. And I'm just like, where are you, William? Like I don't know. It was pretty great, but I wonder if he was just doing an April 1st gag, or if like that wasn't planned by you, was it?
No, I have no clue who that guy was, man. When he showed up like that,
yeah, because I couldn't find him. Like I couldn't find anything about him.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
But yeah, it's been good between then and now. Nothing too crazy going on.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I guess should we call you Calvin since that's your name on there, or do you like to be called Native?
Yeah, let me formally introduce myself to any of my Discord friends. My name is Calvin. Here's my identity. I didn't
All right.
that making this account would use my Google account and totally dox me, but hey, here you go. There's my
Hey, that makes me feel better. My name is Jordan. I'm not going to give you my last name though, because I'm still in the military right now.
And you guys,
but in a few months, I won't be.
Well, let's see. You get a note, eh?
Yeah, I'll be out in June. I'll be driving home.
Well, I think you were saying that last time. Where were you stationed? I forgot.
I'm stationed in California.
Yeah, we were talking about this, I think, eh?
Possibly.
I think so. It's hard to remember, man.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, California's been cool and all, but it's definitely not my ideal culture. Like I wish like I could take like a culture from somewhere else and like slap it on the geological location of California, you know, and just make that like my home. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, you could always move up here to Canada with me and Galvin.
Oh, geez, man, that's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, it seems like psychedelics are more legal over there, though.
Well, they're illegal still, but yeah, we got the dispensaries going, and I think it's more the opiate pandemic that's really occupying most of the time of the police and stuff like that. They're not really looking for the guys that. I mean, I hope they're not looking for the guys that are growing a couple tubs in their basement.
Yeah, it's definitely a mix up of priorities. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know. I guess they don't really find that it's a good time of the resources or whatever.
My partner, he's done of the market garden thing. He's the one who's getting me into the farmers market, and he bought like foraged mushrooms from Vancouver from a guy who sold to restaurants, but lost a lot of clients because a lot of restaurants closed in COVID, so he get a good price on them. But at the farmers markets, because he's got mushrooms on his stall, a lot of the farmers would come up to him and be like, "Hey, man, you got some of that good stuff, or is it just this?" And he's like, "Whoa, what?" There's a police officer right there. And the conversation, he didn't give a shit.
I was gonna mention that to you. While you're at the farmers market, there, just have a little extra on the side, and these ones are the special ones, and these ones are the like, the tasty ones.
You like walk into a mall and just scream like, "Hey, you got any drugs?"
Here to buy mushrooms.
Yeah, depends on what kind you're coming to buy, right?
Yeah, and it's like it's illegal, yes, but it's not heavily enforced. Like we don't have an entire office in the police force dedicated to the war on drugs here, so it's not fully.
Yeah, I mean, around here it's kind of similar. Like, at least here in California, I'm from Florida, and I didn't really notice this until I got here. But nobody really seems to care, like, what you do, as long as you don't get caught doing stupid shit while you're on drugs, basically, which I know sounds like kind of nihilistic or negative, but it's really positive. Like, if you think about it, if I see a guy tripping on a park bench, do I really care? Am I here to stop him or call the cops on him? No, like nobody really is,
I saw a Reddit.
Just how it is.
Some guy who was and he decided to park his car behind some kind of store, and he was just tripping, blasting music, dancing like an idiot in the forest. And the police officers came to check on him, like, "Hey, man, what's up?" And because he was high, he was like a child, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just tripping on some shrooms." And they're like, "Oh, are you now? Do you mind if we search your car?" And he said, "Yeah, no worries," thinking that they had his best interests at heart.
Shit.
Ended up in jail.
That sucks. What's actually kind of interesting about drug laws, though, is a lot of them refer to possession, but not being on drugs. So, like, I can, like, technically, according to the law, like, it's only illegal for me to, like, possess something. So if I say, like, go shoot, or, I'll go smoke a joint in a state where it's illegal, right? If they don't find any weed on me, I'm actually fine. It's not illegal to be high. It's just illegal to have weed,
Yeah, see, up here in Canada, it's different. They can, like, if you're high outside or drunk outside, they get you for public intoxication.
Yeah, but that's the most they can get you for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know if it's a ticket but I think they can throw you in jail
it's like
for
a misdemeanor, I think.
Yeah, they could throw you in jail for it.
I think it's like a sober up thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, like you go.
I think most time, I think they would just put you in jail for the night and then like send you home, unless you were like being an actual problem. At least that's how most times I've seen people get picked up for being drunk and disorderly outside, basically.
So I'm not really too familiar with the what do you call it? The gourmet mushrooms. Like, how much do those go for a pound and stuff like that? Like when you put it in the markets and stuff.
Oh, that depends heavily on where you're selling. So, like farmers markets, that's where you go there. Farmers markets, people are going there expecting to spend an ungodly amount of money. So you can sell your mushrooms that nobody's ever seen before for upwards of $25 to $40 a pound, right? And you can break it up.
No.
Yeah,
A
That much?
pound?
a pound. You can get away with it depending on how much of a salesman you are.
I mean, a pound for $40?
Yeah.
We're
I
talking
don't know if I
gourmet.
could even.
Of course.
Yeah, but like, how small are they? Like, are they big or?
So what you could do is you can get like little 5 ounce boxes of like an assortment, and you could sell that 5 ounce box for however you want to do it. It's
Yeah, I guess I just don't understand like the normal price of gourmet mushrooms, like what they're supposed to cost.
as a chef, the chefs are seeing prices. Again, this is depending on where you are. They're
Mhm.
seeing for oyster, just regular brown oyster mushrooms, you'll see between $10 to $15 a pound for a restaurant.
Okay,
Kind of the baseline, right?
so that's like way okay. That's way above like the standard expectation. Then, yeah.
Yeah. And so now you're going to the market. You're not just selling them produce; you're selling them an experience, right? They went to the market. They saw somebody local. They're getting something that was harvested recently. All these things factor into the price point. And then you offer them this variety box of things that they've never seen before, and they have a wallet filled with money that they intend to spend already. You can get away with some pretty nice profit margins.
Fuck, man. We're in the wrong business here. Gotta get
Yeah.
into the mushroom farm.
I'm
40
about
bucks,
to go start farming, dude.
$40 a pound.
Shit.
Well, actually, I was. It gave me the idea today. I was in the car with my wife and kid, and I told my wife, I said, "Hey, we're gonna." My daughter's name's Adeline. We're gonna put her out on the front grass this summer, and we're gonna sell gourmet mushrooms from a fucking fruit stand on our front grass.
Fucking do
teach
it.
her a good lesson, how to make, and she can make some money doing it,
Right.
and teach her a lesson. We can, because up where I live, it's a diverse, what do you call it? Diverse economy, I guess, or what would you call it? They're diverse.
Yeah.
So I mean, we could sell those mushrooms up here. You gave me that idea. I was like, fuck, I should do that.
You should absolutely do that. There's
Yeah.
no reason not to do that, right?
Oh.
If you can grow shrooms, you can grow any mushroom.
Yeah, fuck.
Because they don't differ very much in process. Some genetics, they have different temperature requirements, and there's minor things with fruiting. But end of the day, it's grain spawn to substrate to fruiting room. Fruiting room, you can dial in the temperature and whatever conditions that you need it to be. Oyster mushrooms in particular, or lion's mane, they fruit similar to cubensis. 21 degrees, 90% humidity, let her go for 2 weeks, harvest your mushrooms, and repeat.
I might have to try it out, man. I just might have to. I don't know.
Okay? Get in
I mean,
there.
why not?
You got the space. You got your entire
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I've seen people. Well, I haven't seen them personally, but I've seen pictures like people do it like in their bathtub or like just
man.
in their, in their attic or like wherever they can. Really, like you can definitely set something up. If somebody could do it in their bathtub.
I've been seeing some people who are bringing a few pounds a week to market, and they just have a little 4x4 tent, and they have it in the corner of their living room.
Really?
Yeah, just a little corner, little tent. They'll fill it with bags, harvest what they can, and bring it to the market. The beauty of the market is there's no demand, right? It's not like signing a contract with a supplier. You don't have a minimum demand. You bring what you can, and then once you sell out, you go home, which is pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
You still got to make enough money to live, though, right? So you gotta.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, of course, but that's.
but nobody's like telling you what to do, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no what's the word? Obligation. Like, if I was to go to a restaurant, say, "Hey, man, I'm starting a farm. Would you be interested in buying my produce?" The first question the chef's going to ask me is, "What are your prices? How much can you supply me weekly?" Because you have to be able to meet the demand, right? And that's a lot of pressure for somebody who's just starting out. But with the farmer's market, if I produce 50 pounds, I can sell 50 pounds. If I can produce 100 pounds, I can sell 100 pounds. If I don't sell 100 pounds, then I can start looking at where else can I sell this. Let me start looking at restaurants and wholesalers and grocery stores and whatever, go from there, right?
So that's like the starting platform is like the market, so you can figure out how much you can grow, how fast you can grow it.
Exactly.
And then you get your price points and
start recording data,
I guess it would change though, right? Your price points are going to change when you go from like the market to the store. It's going to have to be a lot lower, right?
Yeah, a lot lower because they have to make a profit on it too, right? With the market, I'm making all the profit. They're just going to go home and they're going to enjoy them. With the restaurant, they need to be able to put that on the menu, and they need to make their menu prices affordable to the consumer. So they still need to sell it. So it's going to have to be a lot low. However, they're going to buy a lot. They're going to buy a lot more than what that consumer at the farmer's market is going to purchase. So
yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah. Because like I'm definitely not gonna go like buy a pound of freaking gourmet mushrooms, even if I want to cook them. Like it's a lot. I feel like.
Right? People hear $30 a pound of mushrooms. They're like, oh, that's pretty expensive. But then you show them how much a pound of mushrooms really is. You can feed a family of 10 with a pound of mushrooms.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know if anyone really like wants that many. You know what I'm saying? Unless they do. I mean, I don't know. Personally, I just think that's like a hard thing to sell, I guess. Like,
yeah. That's why you have that idea I gave you with the 5-ounce baskets. If I have like 50.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You'll
break it down
a few ounces at a time, but that's also why it's $50 a pound because I'm only giving you a few ounces for like $10 or whatever, right?
Mm. Yeah, so I guess like presentation is a big part of it too.
Huge, because people buy with their eyes first, right? If I give you some mushrooms and they're just lazily thrown around the table, you're probably not going to want it as much. But if I give you a basket of mushrooms that are nicely arranged with a bouquet of flowers, people will be more inclined, even if you don't get the flowers.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I guess I just never got into growing them because I don't eat mushrooms, man. I don't eat the gourmet mushrooms. I'm not a gourmet mushroom fan really too much since a little kid. I never.
Yeah, I've never tried them. I mean, I've eaten mushrooms before, but I've never specifically like tried gourmet mushrooms, I guess.
I find it absolutely hilarious to talk to people who are great at growing them, and it's like I don't really eat mushrooms very.
Well, I mean, hey, it's like. It's like, it's good if you're in the business, right? Because it's like when you go to sell some cocaine or something, you don't want to do the cocaine because you're taking out of your profits, right? So you don't want to eat. You don't want to eat the mushrooms because
I guess that's true. If you like them a lot, you might just end up eating them all.
That's it. You're going to eat your profits.
I freaking love mushrooms, and I know for a fact there's going to be midnight trips to my shed just so I can pick a couple things.
Well, I mean, if they're psychedelic, I'll eat them. But when they're gourmet, I don't know. I heard it tastes like some of them taste like bacon fried up, and
yep.
That kind of sounds good, though.
Yeah, I heard they're pretty good. Yeah, what kind is that? What kind of?
You're looking at pink oysters, is what they say when you fry them really crispy. I tell you, the mushrooms that you grow fresh. The gourmet mushrooms, they taste nothing like the grocery store. They're so much more fragrant. So like when I grew some blue oysters in my Martha tent in the garage, when you eat them, you get that mushroom flavor that you like so much, but then you get this very aromatic, almost cedary kind of undertone that came with it that was very powerful.
Kind of like a woodsy kind of flavor.
Very, very woodsy, what you would expect from a wood lover. But you really get that very hard to explain. It's kind of like when you get Lipton black tea and then you get some kind of some jasmine, like really fresh jasmine tea. Like a big difference.
Yeah, I feel that.
Tea flavor, but you really get the floral hints to it.
Man, you're making me hungry right now.
I was gonna say, I guess you have to try it to understand it. You can't. It's hard to describe those flavors.
Absolutely. And again, man, if you're already growing your own shrooms for whatever reason that you're doing it, just try some gourmets because the process is going to be the same. If you like, especially if you have a Martha tent already set up, you already got that humidity room. There's really no real reason why you shouldn't just throw one in just to see what happens. You can grow them in Ziploc bags.
Fuck me, I'm gonna have to give it a try. I got some culture here. I haven't used it.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe
like way behind you guys on that one.
What's that on the culture?
Yeah, no, like I just haven't even started yet. I'm waiting till I get home. So like he start like you get like listening to you guys talk about it makes me so excited to do it, but like I'm also super jealous that I can't right now.
yeah. I don't know, man. Once you grow a few tubs, you got to try and kind of find something else. Like once you get good at growing the mushroom, you gotta like kind of find something else to stimulate it.
Like branch out a little bit. And
yeah, like I've grown them so much now. Now I'm trying to crossbreed, right? Because after you keep growing them, it's just like, you can work on the genetics and stuff like that, but you got to find other sources to, other kinds of like pan-cyan and something to change it up, So maybe I will try some gourmet.
Yeah, you see
do something
with growers, right? When you first start off, it's like, okay, how do I get them? How do I get them? How do I fruit it? How do I do this? And you make mistakes and you start over, and it's like that building anticipation, and over like months of work, you finally get that first harvest. And you're like, yes, and then you do it again. You're like, yes, and then you do it again. You're like, okay, I have a year's worth. Do I keep doing this or what?
Yeah.
Like, what do I do with all these?
Exactly. Right?
That's when you start buying the microscope and you start branching out into other avenues of the growing.
Yeah, and it's like all the strains. Either way, it's just cubensis, right? How many times are you gonna grow cubensis? Sure, they look different, but it's still just cubes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they grow the same. Sure, they look different. I mean, like the Enigma and whatever mutation, but then you're right. Then you look at Pan-Cyan or Pinellus, other Pinellus species or Azurescens, things like that. But why not gourmet? Learn to grow your own food. Try something delicious. Grow a mushroom that tastes good for once, for God's sakes.
Yeah, for real.
I'm not looking for the taste. I'm looking for the action, man. The action. What comes after you eat the mushroom?
I mean, sometimes it's good to slow down and just enjoy something normal,
Yeah, I hear you.
Like friggin' lion's mane. Oh man, lion's mane is a great mushroom. I love it. It's like when you slice it up into like a steak and then fry it at really high temperature in some butter. Those long skinny teeth, they get super crispy like hickory sticks. And it's just crispy, but the inside
he sounds so passionate about it as he's describing it.
I mean, it's good. I mean, it's great to see like passion and stuff, like something I'm not used to in the military, I guess, is like people being passionate about stuff. Cause like we all fucking hate it here and we all just want to go home. So like nobody really is passionate about the things they're doing right now. They're passionate about what they're going to do after they get out of the military or whatever,
Yeah. When you're mentioning that, it kind of seems like when you're in jail or something, you're like, you're in there.
That's kind of how it feels sometimes. Low key. I mean, I have a lot more freedom than somebody in jail, but I'm still like stuck here. I can't just leave,
And all you're doing is anticipating about what you're going to do when you come home. You're not thinking about, But yeah, just back to he was just so passionate as he was describing that. I was getting the visual of the mushroom there. He was cutting it up and
just like bacon, man.
Dude, I know. I was thinking about like an actual steak. Like he was like describing it like this flat piece of. I'm just thinking like this white, weird looking steak thing.
Yeah.
Cauliflower steak. You ever see that?
Yeah.
I think I've seen it. I've seen pictures of it, but
I mean, you make it sound good though.
It's absolutely delicious. If I'm not a vegetarian, but if I was, mushrooms would be a huge aspect of me. Definitely, and I understand it now with like if you are familiar with Indian culture, Sikhs in particular, they have a huge population of vegetarians because it's part of their religion, and for them, they absolutely love mushrooms. Absolutely love mushrooms, and I get it. It's the closest thing to meat that they have that tastes delicious. Or else it's just like lentils and tofu, or they have something called paneer, which is like a solid kind of cheese that doesn't melt, and you can put that in a curry.
Oh, that sounds pretty good.
It is good. Paneer is delicious. It's just,
Yeah, we got to stop talking about food, man. Like, I can't handle this anymore.
There's all there's also a lot of like health benefits and stuff to it too. No, like the mushrooms there,
yeah, absolutely.
like all the vitamins and all that kind of. Like I'm not too familiar with all that stuff. Just
So mushrooms have the ability to create vitamin D, which is something that you can't really get very often unless you go out in the sun. So, like, if you leave mushrooms in the sun for like 15, 20 minutes or so, it produces an insane amount of vitamin D, which is pretty interesting if you think about it.
What?
Yes.
So wait, they absorb vitamin D and they make it as well?
Like they like the same way our bodies produce vitamin D when you are out in the sun, the
Yeah.
mushrooms create it as well. And when
Oh
you
yeah, I misunderstood that. Yeah, but they make more than us,
yeah,
like a shit ton.
yeah, like a lot. Like I think it's like
That's
300% or something. Like I don't want to give an exact because somebody's gonna hold me to that misinformation.
yeah. I mean, that's pretty cool. You
It is
know.
a large amount of vitamin D, and you don't see that in any other produce.
so even since you're growing the gourmet mushrooms, why don't you like create some of those capsules and stuff? Would that be an avenue you'd be looking to go down?
Absolutely. So, like with all, like if you are familiar with grocery stores and whatnot, any kind of food production, even restaurants, God, it's horrible. There's a lot of goddamn waste. Just have green bins absolutely overfilling. Like think about when you go to the grocery store and you see that pile of apples. They look pristine, but every pristine apple that you see, think about how many bruised or ugly apples are in the garbage. There's a ton. So what I love about mushrooms in particular is, say I grow, I don't know, 100 pounds of mushrooms. I sell maybe 60 pounds. I have all these mushrooms left over, and they're just going to go bad by the end of the week. Do I throw them out? No. I dehydrate them, preserve them, powderize them, extract them, capsulize them, put them in chocolate. That seems to be the most popular thing now. I don't fucking know.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? I can take it in many other places with it. There's like a 0% wastage at that point.
Now you don't need any kind of like medical or anything to like bottle it up and sell it.
No,
Like
because
no, eh? I guess because there's no like medicine. I
It's
guess.
not a yeah. It's not like a FDA drug, right?
exactly.
Essentially, or although yeah, it's like food. It's like almost just putting food in a pill. No, sorry, I just thought about that. Like my brain just had to go through that. But please continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like because if they start regulating mushroom supplements, it's like what is the difference between selling you mushrooms at a farmer's market and selling you mushrooms in a capsule at a farmer's market? Can't
Yeah, like
Yeah,
functionally, there is no difference. Yeah.
It's just like it's hard to make cubensis spores illegal, right? The culture is illegal because it contains psilocybin, but how do you write a law to outlaw cubensis spores in general without outlawing a lot of other stupid things? Can't really. It's difficult.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. And you know, like actually, what's really weird is I think here in the U.S. it's legal to have the spores, and it's even legal to let the spores grow. But as soon as you pick them or pick the fruit, it becomes illegal because you now are possessing a substance, I guess, somehow. Like it's ridiculous. But yeah, I can grow a shit ton of apes in my backyard if I want to. But as soon as I pick one out of the ground, you know.
That's funny.
Yeah, I think somebody was saying about they grow on the beaches out there. So I forget who that was. somebody's talking about how it grows on the beaches out there or something.
I mean, yeah, mushrooms or psychedelics mushrooms do grow all over the place if you think about it, like all over the world. But in California, especially, like there's a few places I think that like they're really a lot more like common, I guess.
So maybe that's why it's not illegal until you pick them, because there's so many in the
Yeah.
ground or whatever. They figure
It would be, yeah, a lot of people would just get in trouble for no reason because how are they supposed to know some cubes are growing? Like especially if they live like near the woods or something, like forget it, you know?
Imagine not a lot of people know what a cube is, right? Like the police
Yeah.
officers themselves probably don't even know what a cube is. They probably just know magic mushrooms. How many of them actually know how to identify a mushroom?
that's true, eh? Because some of them look the same, and it's hard to like.
Right.
How can they? That's a good point, man.
I feel like that's a good way to like fuck with them too, though, is like you get a bag of just like normal mushrooms and just, like vacuum seal it and then get pulled over and then just let them see it. And they're like, what's that? And it sucks for you, but like also they're going to be really annoyed after that day's over.
Right? And it's just like, yeah, it's shrooms. It's shrooms, bro. And then they arrest you, and then you sue them for false imprisonment because
Yeah.
nobody thought.
They're like, yeah, they're just mushrooms, man.
Mushroom identification is already difficult alone as it is. It's very hard to just post a picture of a mushroom and say, "Hey, what is this?" Like if you look at the mushroom identification subreddits, you see it all the time. People will post a picture, "Hey, can I eat this?"
It drives me nuts, man.
Right?
I know.
It drives me nuts.
But at least they're asking.
At least they're asking. But if you have to ask, "Can I eat this?" Then no,
You probably shouldn't, yeah.
Yeah.
But I am glad that they're stopping to ask the question in the first place rather than just like eating a random mushroom they found in a park.
Yeah, but
somewhere.
nobody can really tell though. You can't really tell like if you can eat it or like. I'm sure there's people that can just look at it and tell, but so many mushrooms look alike. You can't make a good judgment on that.
Yeah, that's really tough. Like unless you grew it yourself, how do you? It's really hard to judge. Like
look at the porcini mushroom, right? The bolete family. How many of them are actually edible? Or even, here's a good one, the Russula family. You just look that one up. There's only a select few that are actually edible, and a lot of them are not edible. But they're the same family. It's there's a few species that look like cubensis, but they're not. They don't contain any alkaloids.
That's just like the like on Reddit there, the contamination posts. I see then they're all the same.
Yeah, they're fun.
It's all the same though. Like they're like I don't know. Maybe they just post and then don't look at other posts.
That's what I always do. Like when I hop in a new subreddit because I'm looking for answers to something or like whatever it is, right? I always just check the post history first. Like I'll search my question and see if anyone else has asked it.
So find it.
Because if I don't have to give myself social anxiety, why do it? I can just find the answer.
Yeah. I don't know. What's that?
20-year-old shroomery posts. Like I'll ask a question and then I'll be like, wait, hold on, and I'll just Google it and then I'll find a shroomery post from like 20 plus years ago, and it's like, oh okay.
Yeah.
Just freaking Google it. Somebody's probably already thought of it.
Yeah, man, that's the great thing about it.
So much information out there. You can find everything.
Oh
yeah,
and it's only growing right now with mushrooms in particular. Like when I found 90-second mycology, he just started the videos, and now we have like more than double whatever that was.
I mean, yeah, there's been I've noticed like not just psychedelics, but also there's been a big boom in like just mushroom related things in general lately. Like lion's mane, like you were talking about, and like shiitake and like all that kind of stuff, like making extracts. It seems like people are just more open to the idea now of like looking into what mushrooms can actually do.
A whole new world of fungi. I mean, I call it mycophobia. There's a stigma of mushrooms where ever since you're a kid, you're told not to fuck with that. Don't fuck with the because it's poisonous. You kill you. But did you know that there's more plants that will kill you than mushrooms? But we're not supposed to pick flowers.
Yeah.
Right? There's more trees that can harm you than there are mushrooms. Again, you don't stop and mess with flowers or trees or leaves or whatever, right? It's just people don't know about them. People don't want to commit the time to know about them. And now they're just learning now about all the different types of gourmet mushrooms. Like when people ask me about what kind of mushrooms I'm going to grow, and I talk to them about lion's mane and reishi and whatever, they're like, whoa, wait, hold on. Mushrooms come in white and brown. What are you talking about? Blue, gold, and pink. What are you talking about?
Hang on.
Right?
Yeah, when you started talking about that powder, I did a little bit of research here, and there's people here selling 100 grams of the powder for $30,
Yep.
and you can get a pound. Say a pound out of a bucket or a bag?
And wait, what's the powder? It's to make the mushrooms go better?
No, it's just the caps, like those capsules we were talking about.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So
Yeah.
I guess or maybe they put it in tea or whatever they do with this.
Here's something, because with this newfound love of fungi that people are coming into, there's more interest in people are buying these capsules and supplements for like the lion's mane extracts and whatnot. But a lot of these things are just dehydrated lion's mane in a capsule. What's important that people need to understand is there's lion's mane, the gourmet mushroom, and then there's lion's mane, the medicinal supplement. The difference between the two is the medicinal supplement has been extracted so that those medicinal compounds are accessible to the body.
So it's not just the mushroom then.
So you can't just get the benefits from eating it, basically.
Exactly. You can't just powderize a raw mushroom and take it and expect to get those super powered effects. You have to, it's called a double extraction, right? There's the hot water extraction, which brings out a round of compounds, and then there's an alcohol extraction, which brings out the second round of compounds, both of which are different.
That's what they're doing?
They're just powderizing raw mushrooms, putting them in capsules, and people, because the placebo effect is huge in the mushroom community, and we all know this. The placebo effect is huge, so people feel like they're getting better because they're taking these capsules that they spent over $100 on, and there's no way of disproving. You can't, right?
I thought they were just grounding up the mushrooms and putting it in the capsules. That's how I thought you got all the benefits from it, because the benefits are in the mushrooms.
Benefits are in the mushrooms, but it's not accessible if it's not extracted first.
So when you eat the mushrooms, you're not getting anything either then?
You're getting, you get the vitamins and
I mean, you get food out of it.
Right?
Yeah, but you're not getting any nutrients.
Right? You're still getting a lot of compounds, right? But there's still another level of compounds that is inaccessible unless you do the right way. That's why lion's mane tea is a popular way of taking it. When I was growing the mushrooms in my garage, I gifted a couple pounds of lion's mane to my family doctor, and she told me that her and her husband made a tea out of it. And I was like, what? Why would you make a tea? These are delicious mushrooms. And that's when I started learning about the benefits and how to get them. She was telling me why they chose to make a tea instead of frying them up in butter like I was expecting.
Because the hot water was extracting the nutrients from the mushrooms.
Exactly. The compounds that were needed, the compounds that they're going for. And as a doctor, that's exactly what a doctor would do. They would want that. Right, like now. Look at again. If you walk down Toronto right now, you'll see on the lamppost there's QR codes for mushroom chocolate. Mushroom chocolate is everywhere. You even see it in the subreddits too, right? Is this mushroom chocolate?
Yeah, from what I've heard, a lot of that's Amanita, right? Or are you talking about?
I think some of